Ho, ho, ho. Ho, ho, ho. What's up, everybody? How's it going? Infinite XP here, and welcome again back to the channel. And this one is going to be another review. This time, obviously, as you can see from the title, it's Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. So before I begin, though, I do want to thank you all for 61 subscribers. I thank y'all, Nashiramba, so much. I appreciate it. I will continue to do what I do and improve. Again, thank you. It means the world to me, generally, really. Nashiramba. So yeah, thank you guys so much. I hope that I can continue to entertain you and make more people subscribe. I don't know where I'm really going with this. Thank you, Nashiramba, Shashiramba. Let's get back to the review. Okay, as always, I'm gonna have gameplay in the background as I talk. I will sometimes go back to me when I mess up or whatever, but let's go. So as always, if you're new to my reviews, if you can call them that, I always will start off with a overview, talking about my history, about whatnot. So I do want to start this off with saying that I actually never did play any of the old Dragon Ball games. So that's the Budokai games or the Budokai Tenkaichi games, which I think they're pretty much the exact same thing. So Sparking Zero was actually my very first one. So take that with as you will. For the Dragon Ball games, my first Dragon Ball game was actually Xenoverse 1, and then I bought Xenoverse 2, and then I played Dragon Ball Fusions, it's probably, if not my favorite, and then I did Dragon Ball Fighters when that came out, which that didn't really last long because I don't care for fighting games, but it was Dragon Ball, so I went ahead and bought it anyways. And then after that, it was Dragon Ball Heroes World Mission, and then it was Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. So again, take that as you will. I'm putting that in because I don't know if that might shut off some people from the video. If that's true, I don't blame y'all. But let's continue. So with that obviously being said, I have, with this game, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, I have clocked in 33.2 hours, and the last time I have played this was back on the 17th in October. Rest of the video, I'm not gonna lie, I am kind of disappointed with the game. Besides that, I guess 100% completed the game and unlocked all the achievements. The reason why I say kind of did 100% because I didn't buy all the capsules in the shop. But besides that, I've done all the story mode. I've done pretty much everything the game has to offer. But with that, I will say most of this review will be over the main story and the single player aspect of the game. I did play the multiplayer, not too much. I've only done it to get I think it's like 2 or 3 achievements. So that's it. I never really did multiplayer for the competitive aspect, so yeah. Also, I do want to say this will have spoilers. This will have spoilers, so if you are okay with that, continue. If not, you might want to play the game, I guess, or wait, who knows. Let's get on to this. So the main story, if I'm being honest, I'm actually disappointed by this. There isn't enough story content to go through in this game. So the game has multiple characters that have their own unique story. With that being said, you get to experience what the story was like through this specific character's eyes. The characters for this game are Goku, Vegeta, Gohan, Piccolo, Frieza, and Goku Black. This is where the spoilers come in. There are 2 more unlockable characters that you can play as, which is Future Trunks and then Jiren. To unlock those 2 characters, you have to play through Goku's story, and once you get through the Goku Black saga or the Future Trunks saga or arc or whatever, that's when you unlock Future Trunks, and then once you complete the Tournament of Power, that's when you unlock Jiren. So for Goku's story, I would say it's the longest and most fulfilling. Obviously, he's pretty much the main character of the of the show. His story takes you from the start of Dragon Ball Z to the end of Dragon Ball Super. I do want to point out, I know there are what ifs. I do have what ifs in its own section. I'll get to that after I talk about each of the character's story. So with that, Goku's story is fine. It's good. I'm not gonna complain. It's not until after the Buu saga, when you get to the Battle of Gods and the Resurrection of F, the game really like just fast forwards through those two arcs for some reason. I really don't know why. At least for me personally, that's what it felt like. For some reason, it completely, I don't know if it's just because of the arc. I don't know if the arc's not popular or whatever, but they completely skip over the Universe 6 versus 7 arc, or the Tournament of Destroyers, which I think that's what it's called, arc for some reason. So it just goes Battle of Gods, Resurrection of F, and then straight to the Goku Black. I do not know why. I don't know if that was just a choice. I don't know. It's a little weird. Yeah, that's about it for his story. It's not until other characters' story modes that's when a lot of the problems for the story modes, that's when the problems start to arise. So Goku's was definitely the most stable, was the most fulfilling, I would say, definitely because of how much, I mean, obviously Goku's the main character. So the next one I want to talk about is Vegeta's. Vegeta starts with the beginning of the Saiyan saga from Dragon Ball Z and ends, this is where my problem is, it ends at the Buu saga. I do not know what they were thinking. I don't know if this was just a creative decision. I am still to this day, even though the game is like, I think a little over a month old, I am baffled by this, considering that there's Dragon Ball Super and Vegeta has a whole bunch to go through with that, and yet for some reason in this game they stop at Buu saga, or at the end of the Buu saga. I really don't understand it. So there's Vegeta's story. So now there's the next one I want to talk about is Piccolo, and he's, in my opinion, I love Piccolo. I just want to get that out of the way. With that being said, honest to God, this is my opinion, obviously this whole thing is my opinion, I do not get why he has a story. His story is very short. It's Saiyan Saga to the Android Saga, not Cell. Oh wait, Cell might be in. No, maybe it is Cell. I think it's. I think it's like the beginning of the Android, where second form Cell takes place or something. I did write down that I felt that his story was just tacked on for the extra content, just to make the game seem a little bit bigger. Honestly, again, in my opinion, nothing really stands out in his story. I'm really baffled as why he was here. It really does feel like they just added on his character to try to make the story, the main story, or his, let's rephrase. He's put in there to make the game seem a little bit bigger than what it actually is. The next one is Frieza. Frieza's story was actually a little bit better than expected, and honestly, that's only because of his one what if, and that's actually towards the end of the game, towards the Tournament of Power. So his story actually starts at the Frieza arc, or Namek Saga, or Frieza Saga in Dragon Ball Z, and then picks up at Resurrection of F, obviously, and then the Tournament of Power. And like I said, the big thing was his one what if, and that's towards the end. Nothing else really stands out. The next one is Goku Black story, which is the same. I honestly put him in the same, tier as Piccolo. I get he's a popular character. I get that he's like one of the most popular characters that have came out of Dragon Ball Super. Obviously, I get why he's a playable character and he has his own story. But his whole thing is just the Goku Black Saga, or the Future Trunks arc, or whatever. And even including his what ifs, nothing stands out. And that's, in my opinion, I think it sucks. His story generally does suck because it's just the Goku Black Saga, and that's it. It doesn't venture out. It doesn't try to do anything different. The majority of his stuff is actually what ifs, and again, we'll talk about that in the next section. The last one before the two unlockables is Gohan's story. This one was actually surprising. I generally do playing through his story and especially his what ifs. And if you played the game, there's a specific what if. Everybody knows. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. But besides that, it really does feel like the developers are big Gohan fans, because the story is probably one of the best ones in the game, and his what ifs are actually some of the better ones in the game, and the one that I'm talking about is the best in the game, in my opinion. As always, his story starts from the beginning of Dragon Ball Z and ends with Dragon Ball Super at the Tournament of Power. And like I iterated earlier, that his what ifs are some of the best ones in the game. And now to the last two unlockables. There's as I said, there's Future Trunks, and then there's Jiren. Future Trunks had an interesting one. It's the Goku Black arc or saga, and then with his I can't really say too much because obviously his what if, but I'll say this now. His what if basically goes into the Tournament of Power. Yeah, that's basically about it. I'm kind of surprised as I was writing this review. I honestly surprised they didn't start at the Android saga with Future Trunks from Dragon Ball Z, and yet they did Dragon Ball Super. Again, I don't know if that was just a choice, a decision, since he does have quite a bit with the Android saga from Dragon Ball Z, so yeah. And then there is the last one, be Jiren. Jiren is the same thing as Goku Black and Piccolo. His story was just a waste of time. It's just the Tournament of Power, and his what ifs are just boring. And we will go into these what ifs. So now this section is gonna be about what ifs and what I feel personally about the what ifs. So I've watched some videos of some of the what ifs from like the Tenkaichi games and Budokai games, whatever. And I was expecting something out of this game with their what ifs. And if I'm being honest, they're just boring. They all play out the exact same and feel very, I wrote safe, but they were just very lackluster. Besides Gohan's, they're all just A, what if this person transformed earlier? B, what if this person beat this person earlier? Or C, what if this person beat this person faster? D, what if this person listened instead of not listening? It's all the same thing, which got kind of boring after a while. Again, they all just felt very safe. Just, I don't know. I was expecting more out there what ifs, and it's just all, from what I've gathered, stuff that has been done many times before, so they just kind of suck. So again, we're gonna go over the characters and I guess an overview of their what ifs. Goku Blacks. I honestly thought I generally do think there's so much they could do with Goku Blacks, but all of his what ifs are just Goku Black winning, Goku Black winning, Goku Black fusing with Zamasu and winning, Goku Black fusing with Zamasu in a different alternate version of him winning. It's literally just him winning. I was expecting something a little more out there, like what if he survived and somehow had to join in the Tournament of Power? Nope. There's nothing. That's literally all of his what ifs. And yeah, very underwhelming. The next one would be Goku's. Very safe. Like I said, very underwhelming. Like I said, what if Goku transformed early? What if he beat this villain fast? What if Goku was, I guess, extra prepared? Like I said, the what ifs in this game are really, besides Gohan's, they're just very underwhelming and just feel like they've been done 1,000 times before. There's nothing really new, nothing truly out there. Again, besides Gohan. So there's Piccolo's, and I'm not gonna lie, I literally wrote down, I don't remember Piccolo's. I generally don't. So we're just gonna move on. Vegeta's, as I wrote right here, it's literally just Goku's. What if Vegeta transformed early? What if he beat this villain early? What if Vegeta was prepared? What if Vegeta listened to Trunks back in the Android saga? Frieza has the same. It's basically the same as the rest. There is one that stood out, like I said earlier. His what if was, there's a what if at the end. It takes place in the Resurrection of F arc, and it's if Frieza beat Goku and Vegeta. And his whole thing is at least in the Tournament of Power, but the thing is Beerus asked for Frieza to join, but Frieza has the option to choose somebody to bring along. So you get a version of what if he brought Cooler? What if he brought King Cold? What if he brought Zarbon and Dodoria? Oh, and the last one was the Ginyu Force. Cool, but again, just kind of underwhelming. I got the only really two that I thought was actually pretty cool was Cooler and the King Cold. Yeah. Now my favorite, Gohan's. Honestly, the rest of his what ifs are I mean, it's, if you're a Gohan fan, you're really going to enjoy them. They are pretty much the same as Goku and Vegeta's. But there is the Pacific one that a lot of people are talking about, or were talking about. And basically, what if Gohan was able to beat Frieza during the Resurrection of F arc and didn't need Goku and Vegeta? This leads into him training more and actually goes into the Tournament of Destroyers, or the Universe 6 versus 7 arc or saga. And because of that, Zamasu knows about Gohan instead of Goku because of GodTube. I believe that's how it went. Excuse me, I'm reading the Super manga. I'm at the beginning of Tournament of Power. I haven't watched the anime in a long. Super's the only anime I've watched. Let's continue. So instead of a Goku Black, we get Gohan Black, which is actually really interesting. So we get a Gohan Black. It's really interesting. And then we see Gohan Black with another form. It's not. He has the aura of Rose, but yet he's in his like a potential unleashed form. It's cool. As weird as it sounds, it might be hypocritical. I think I would have rather just prefer to see a Gohan Black as Super Saiyan Rose. But this actually goes from Resurrection F all the way into an alternate version of Tournament of Power where Gohan kept training. It's the longest what if in the game. And honestly, the best. If you are a Gohan fan, you are going to love this what if. I love Gohan. He's not my favorite, but I generally love this what if. I thought it was really awesome, especially the Gohan Black arc. Yeah. Besides that, yeah. Jiren is basically Goku Black's. Here's Jiren if he won the Tournament of Power. Here's Jiren if he's still arrogant by the end of the Tournament of Power and wins it. Here's an alternate one where he wins a Tournament of Power, but he's not arrogant. That's it. Trunks had an interesting one, like I said earlier, where he basically, at the end of the Goku Black arc, he ends up staying for a little bit longer and joins the Tournament of Power, but then at the end he goes and leaves. That's about it. Yeah, the what ifs in this game were very, in my opinion, underwhelming. This review might get a lot of hate. The music, it's good. I can't complain. It's Dragon Ball. Well done. Graphics. This Dragon Ball game looks gorgeous. I will not lie. I think out of all the recent Dragon Ball games, this one is honestly the king. This one deserves the crown. This game is very pleasing to look at. The character models are very well done. The transformations of said characters are gorgeous, and the super alternate attacks are freaking awesome to look at. It is pure eye candy. So the next one was actually the combat. I'm not gonna go too much into this because I'm not a big fighting game person, so I don't really have anything I have nothing to compare it to in terms of fighting, so apologies. The combat is okay, I guess. Like I said, I'm not gonna lie, I do suck at this game. As you see with if you guys watched my video. I'm gonna start with the tutorial. It outright sucks. It's not good. It teaches you the bare minimum and then kind of expects you to it just kind of pushes you, especially if you go straight into the main story. This game does have a mode, and this is what I will also go in. This ties into the story mode and my problem with the story mode. So I guess the Budokai games and Tenkaichi games had a system similar to Sparking Zero, but in this game it's called Sparking Mode, and it's honestly a reason why I think the story felt very rushed, and I kind of wish it was maybe I don't know if the right word would be implemented better, or if they could have done something different. But like I said, I still suck at the game, but I did learn some of the controls. And basically, once you learn that you can actually spam Sparking Mode, you can breeze right through the story insanely fast, and I really think it did tone it. I don't think you really get to experience the story mode as should be. I guess you're just able, as when you learn, you can spam sparking mode. You can cheese the entire game, and I just wish I don't know. I wish there was something they could have done something to kind of counteract that. Other than that, I don't really have much to say. Like I said, I don't really play a lot of fighting games, so yeah. The next section is going to be the difficulty. This game is quite hard, specifically the main story. This game does have a tutorial, like I said in the last section, and it sucks, but there is another option to go and fight other characters and figure out the controls on your own. But in my personal opinion, it's not the greatest either. There are also modes in this game, which I should have talked about earlier. I'll talk about them now, like a tournament mode, which the AI in that one, for some reason, even on normal and to a certain extent even on hard, is extremely easy. It's not until you get into the main story where the AI gets like put on steroids and you start to get your ass handed to you severely. Like I said, it's not until you learn to spam sparking mode that you could just cheese the entire story mode. I definitely do say that the AI story mode is way more difficult than what it needs to be, and I still think that it should be toned down a little bit, especially since there's only two difficulty. There's normal, and then maybe there is easy. I think you only get normal and hard. Normal and hard. There is an easy, but you don't get to unlock what ifs. The issue with the AI, like I said, is like you go to attack it, they know you're going to attack, they know when to dodge, they know when you're going to do this, they know when you're going to do that. The only time you can really, like I said, cheese it is when you spam sparking mode, because you can just constantly go and just pound them and then do an ultimate or whatever, an ultimate attack or whatever. So basically, all in all, just learn sparking mode and you are good to go. We're going to be at the ending now. So I generally really wanted to like this game a lot more, but there's quite a bit of things that is wrong with this game. I really do wish that there's more to do in this game. Right now, for me personally, there just is not enough to keep me playing or come back to. There was a customizability or an accessory thing that I could have swore they kept kind of hyping up about, where you can like accessorize each character, and yet there's zero to no accessories. Goku has the power pole, a halo, the V-jump aura. I think all the characters have the V-jump aura. Vegeta just has a halo, and then I think Bardock just has the his Z outfit, and then his super outfit, and then he has the scouter. I think that's literally it. There's no other accessories. I don't know why. There's also, from what I've gathered, in the older games there was a movie mode where you would go through and unlock the different movie characters. So Lord Slug, Turles, Cooler, Metal Cooler, Bojack, and the rest. Yeah, it's not in this one. There's no extra modes in general. I think it's just story mode, tournament mode, and then the multiplayer, and that's it. You unlock the movie characters through what ifs, and in my opinion, that sucks. I'd rather have a movie story mode. The combat is challenging unless you spam sparking mode. There's also no GT story mode. Again, you unlock all those characters through the main story or what ifs, which again sucks. Or you have to buy them through the store. The main story goes by way too fast, and the story of the characters are questionable. Like I said, with Vegeta, how his story ends with the Buu saga. Piccolo ends with the Android saga. It just, a lot of them are, it's just questionable. The what ifs felt way too underwhelming, way too safe in my opinion. And this is just me have my theory. I generally do feel like they wanted the multiplayer aspect of the game to really carry this game. And in my personal opinion, I've been hearing a lot of complaints about the multiplayer, that it's not fair, that there needs to be stuff implemented to make it a lot more easy or manageable. And if it keeps going the way it is, I really don't think the multiplayer is going to be able to carry this game. I could be wrong though. There is also, I forgot to mention, there's also a customized quest thing. It's cool on paper, but I think the way it was implemented was not the greatest. It just felt very tacked on. It's not the greatest. I think they definitely need to do things to make it way more simplistic, so that's easier to go through everything. It has good graphics though. There's a positive. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about is the price. Right now, in this video, It is $69.99 for the base game, $99.99 for the deluxe, and then $109 for the ultimate. Me personally, I own the ultimate, and I honestly wish I could get a refund. This might be the bad part. I don't think the game is worth that much, especially for the Ultimate Edition. I only think it's worth it if you are a huge Dragon Ball fan and you have the money to spend. But even when I say that, I have a hard time recommending it because right now there's just not a lot to do in the game. Unless you're like a big competitive player and like the multiplayer aspect, sure. But I feel like after a while that will just get old. Also, really quick, I also forgot to mention there's not a lot. Most of the characters are still not in the game. Super Android 17, I'm looking at you. Like I said, I have a hard time recommending the Ultimate Edition. I would even say the same for the deluxe. Maybe for the base, the $70 or $69.99, sure. But even then, I think $60 is way more worth it. Like I said over again, there isn't a lot to do in the game as of right now, and I do kind of feel ripped off with the Ultimate Edition. I don't plan on coming back either until they release the DLC for this game, and even then I'm still not hopeful for it. So I'm hoping that if they do update this game, I really do hope they add this game does need a lot of stuff in it. It needs more content and not just DLC. It needs free stuff. It needs movie mode. It needs a GT mode. It needs I think it does need a lot of stuff still. So for me scoring it, I personally would give it a 6 if I wasn't a Dragon Ball fan, but I am a huge Dragon Ball fan. As much as I kept clowning on this game or dogging on it, I will bump it up to a 7 just because that it's a Dragon Ball game. And yeah, it's not bad, it's not horrible, but there's just not a lot of content. Yeah, I do like this game. There just isn't a lot to do right now. I don't play multiplayer games, and I don't buy Dragon Ball games for multiplayer either. The single player content right now sucks. There's not a lot to do, and like I keep saying, it needs more content. And I don't mean that by paid DLC. I really do think they need to add in free content, whatever that may be, even though they probably won't. I am a huge Dragon Ball fan. I generally do love Dragon Ball. I really do. But I'm not going to be the one that just kisses their boot when it comes to video games. So I will call them out. In this game does deserve a lot of criticism. So the game's not perfect. I don't think the game is worth $69.99 or $70 right now, and I don't think the Ultimate Edition or Deluxe is worth it. And again, I cannot recommend unless you are a huge Dragon Ball fan and like fighting games and have the money to spend. So yeah, so for me personally, it's a 7. I am disappointed. I honestly was expecting a lot more than what is in the game right now. I'm sorry if I offended you, because I've been seeing a lot of people complain about Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, and a lot of the fan base gets very upset at that. So yeah, with that being said, I'm gonna let you all go. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like and subscribe, and I will see you on the next video. And I'll see y'all in virtual reality. But then I gotta do another review for Astrobot. So love you all.